Welcome to Devil's Trap Podcast. I'm Diana.
I'm Liz.
And this week we're going to talk about Season 7, Episode 15. We've got some special guests in the background with me today. I got my dogs being real loud. Sorry.
No, I don't think you should apologize for that. They are doing commentary. You have extra commentary by Faith and Albus, who have thoughts about this shit bag of an episode.
I mean, I think if you've watched this episode, you understand why I want my dogs near me.
Yeah, I'm not letting them out of our... Now they left. They're like, oh no, we saw this episode.
They're like, fuck you.
Or they're also like, they don't want to talk about this episode either. But
yeah, probably.
We've got some interesting things. Please don't like run away. We're just not going to shit talk the whole episode. I promise.
Yeah, don't skip it just because. So yeah, what have you been up to?
I don't even know anymore. I believe I went to New York last week. I'm not sure. I feel like that happened, but
pretty sure
it was one of those up and back type things, which is never fun. But I did get a corset, which will likely be part of my Halloween outfit. Ooh. Well, the thing is like it's a real corset, so you can't like really do it by yourself. Like you can, but it's not so. Halloween is a weekday, so I don't know if I'm gonna have anybody over. But I'm going for a pirate theme, and so it's a super awesome. I went to the store. It's called Gothic Renaissance, and it's next to Halloween's. I forgot their sister store, but they have been there forever, and they just have real fucking corsets, real Halloween stuff. And the chick who was checking me out, it was just the most adorable girl, and both of us are like, I feel like I know you, but it was like where, and it was just like, were you around like New York at 10 years ago at like some of the gothier stuff? And she was like, yes, but I was a baby bat. So I don't know. I may have seen this girl before, but she was very helpful. And she was like, wow, she's like, I feel like you're a woman who knows the size of her corset. And then I was like trying this piece on. And she was like, you nailed this. Not many people do that like right the first time. And I'm like, pretty sure I can pick out what corsets fit me. So I'm very excited. It's gorgeous. It's black and brocade. And then also the rest of the time I have been working on my skeleton army. That may be part of this maybe Diana just gets put to work like attaching weapons to tiny skeletons. I don't know. Because we get to see each other tomorrow and I'm very excited. So that's the other thing I've been doing is
your skeleton army of animals.
Well, I mean, this timeline, if you go, I would like to find some tiny weapons to attach with my skeleton army. Amazon will overnight that shit. So I've got a ton of like little swords and like little so the little knives are actually really sharp. Like I was using them to open packages. And I thought about
I don't know if that's good or bad.
I don't know, because I thought about maybe I can do something Halloweeny for like trick or treaters, but I was like, no, these are too dangerous, and parents would hate me. So, anyways, and what about you?
What have I been doing? I feel like I've been really busy. Oh, I went to the State Fair of Texas again because that's always important. I love going to the State Fair of Texas. I know I mentioned it. I enjoy it. I had another corn dog, and I had a fried s'more, which was bomb, and fried charcuterie. And I didn't eat all of this all by myself. To be clear, I shared with people. And then
I wouldn't be judging you if you did.
Well, the fried southern roll or something, and it was collard greens, smoked turkey, and Gouda.
Oh, that sounds so good. Oh,
it was really good. Yeah. Really good. And then the fried cacio de pepe from Italy. So that was all good. And then I've been working on my disco ball wreath project. And other than that, I went and saw an amazing concert because I went to a concert. And I went and saw Amigo the Devil, and he was fucking amazing, as expected, again. And I'm very happy I got to go see him again.
He was playing somewhere. Maybe it was in Austin or something. I saw he was playing somewhere 2 days after I was somewhere. I was just like, wow. I was like, oh, those Diana's fans that she likes.
I adore, and he was really good, and it was a good show, and I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
But you know, that's what I got. But I went out on a school night for that, so I'm very tired.
Bad,
Yeah,
bad girl. You bad
yeah.
girl. How dare you?
But I'm very excited to get to see Liz in person. I think it's been like longer than it's been in years since we've seen each other in
Yeah,
person.
yeah, we just had a lot of shit going on. And I live farther
Yeah,
away now. So
it happens. Well, I haven't been down that way at all. So there we go. But yeah, so that's all I got here.
very cool. So
Prepping
like
for Halloween, both of us apparently.
as you do. And I mean, I'm not saying the skeleton army with the tiny weapons are for Halloween, because I'm pretty sure their lives will be extended much, much past this holiday.
Oh, I have no doubt. I figured as much.
So I'm also just like fucking with my hair because it was coming close to a side ponytail, but
Uh,
it's not. So, anyways, y'all can't see me fucking with my hair. So let's talk about Repo Man. So Repo Man was an amazing movie with,
yeah. So I was very excited about this.
and
This
also
fucking
like
full of this episode's full of
it's
lies.
full
Go
of
ahead.
lies. Like it was like, oh, there's none of the Estevez family in here. There's nothing in a suitcase. There's like what does this have to do with Repo Man? But it nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. And
Mm-mm.
it was first aired February 17th, 2012. It was directed by Thomas J. Wright, and this was the first time we have seen him direct anything for Supernatural. There are many more episodes to come. But
Okay.
I will say he was the second unit director on Howard the Duck, Beverly Hills Cop, and the original Final Destination. His TV credits include Castle, Smallville, One Tree Hill, Firefly, which he won a Hugo Award for that. He
Oh,
created all of the paintings for Rod Serling's horror anthology, Night Gallery. So like those like 69 to 73, like they're all like super cool horror shit. And also I think he was the actual director, although he may have been the unit director, but he was on the credits for I think it was director, I'm just saying it now, but for the Hulk Hogan film No Holds Barred. I know, right? Is that crazy?
that's crazy.
Yeah, and it was written by Ben Edlund. So I feel like Ben Edlund's the one we're gonna hate on the most for his
Agreed.
choices. You made some
He made
choices in this episode, Ben,
choices.
and I don't think you had to make those choices.
No. Unnecessary. Unnecessary. So yeah, so we kick off with our recap, and it's got, we're getting reminded about like where this whole shit went awry. We've got hints of Lilith, we've got death building the wall in Sam's mind, we got fucking Lucifer. So we all know that now they have not like this. Well, we all know you can deduce at this from the intro that they've been ignoring the Sam cuckoo bird situation. I mean that in an endearing, nice way, not in a hurtful way. That we've been kind of ignoring it. Now they're going to fucking address it.
I guess, or like that it's becoming worse. Like I don't
Or at
know.
least they're going to acknowledge it. We haven't even seen like
We
a
haven't
barely an
seen this at all.
acknowledgement
Sam
in
has been
episodes.
fine in dandy. Like nothing
Mm-hmm.
has been like we haven't seen Lucifer at all. But so we're not even starting now though. But so
Nope.
we're going back in time. I guess what the fuck is up with this season and their flashbacks? I don't know.
Really into that.
Yeah, but so now we're flashing back again to 4 years ago this time.
At a cabin, and a woman knocks on the door of the cabin, and Sam answers, and we find out her name is Ms. Havelock. And she just wants to see for herself as Dean is torturing a demon.
Yep. So Miss Havelock, though, is introduced as the Wiccan Bitch of the West, and I am pretty sure that is on a lot of t-shirts.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. And she basically helped them catch this demon. There's already a dead body in there, but now, like, Dean's gonna torture this demon to find out about Lilith, because this is flashing back to before they figured that whole shit out. So we find out that the demon's like, oh, you want to meet the host? And it's Jeffrey the mailman. And you feel real bad because Jeffrey's like, oh, I'm just a poor mailman, but if you need to hurt me to kill this demon, go for it, because I'm a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Demon's
That's
like,
what Jeffrey
yeah,
says. Jeffrey
he's a
says
good
that,
guy.
and then Dean beats him a bunch of shit, including like a metal hammer. And Diana is like, "That's so mean," and I'm like, "Just a metal hammer? You want to beat him
That's
with
all.
something else? I will come
Well,
beat you
don't
with
get me
lots of
wrong. My
things."
perspective has
I know your
changed by
perspective has
now.
changed. So now that you know this, you're like, "Oh, only that metal hammer was very tiny." Also, that was a very weird instrument. Why do you have that? It was like the thing like a doctor would use to like get reflexes.
Not your normal tortured hammer.
Well, what toolkit did you have this in, Dean Winchester? Like, I don't understand. Do you have a torture go bag? Like, where did this come from? Anyways, so they exorcise him after he tells them that they can find Merrick in New Orleans.
Yeah. So Merrick's in New Orleans. I get really excited because I think we're gonna get a New Orleans episode. Do I? No, I don't get a fucking New Orleans episode. I get them dropping off poor beat up exercised host
Like he had inherent,
Jeffrey
like they
at
were
the ER.
junkies and they like were shooting up and he OD'd and they were like dropping their friend off at the ER, being like, "Man, we don't want to get caught here. Like, you'll
Yeah,
be
he's
fine,
like,
man."
and he's like, hey, by the way, you'll be, just don't, yeah,
Yeah,
don't
and
tell what actually happened
And I
because they will
think
think
we're
you're
good.
fucking
Yeah,
insane.
yeah. And so I think we're starting to see here also is this theme of you do not do aftercare for your possession victims, and I think you really need to start incorporating this
It's how
into
fucked up. I mean,
your
I
hunting
asked
plan.
about that
Yes,
earlier.
I know.
Like,
We're just
man,
coming
you would
back
be
up. Like
traumatized.
I think there needs to
Ugh.
be some aftercare. Like maybe y'all should have some psychiatrists set up, like some other things, and we'll get further into this later. But the
Have some
first part should
group
at least
sessions.
be like, here's the things you can tell the doctor at this hospital that we're dropping you off at after we nearly killed you.
Here's my number if you have a question after the fact, since you can't talk about this to anybody else, like anything.
And you think,
Helpline.
bye, instead of just like, have fun. Sorry we traumatized you and ruined your life. Hope you don't die. Okay, so we go back to Idaho. Sorry, not Ohio. Whatever, y'all are the same.
Idaho,
so we go to Idaho.
In the present. Back to the present. And Sam and Dean go into a really gross motel room.
Yeah, it's not a good motel this time.
It's funky.
No.
And Frank calls, and Dean's real fired up.
Actually, it looks like the schools, like the public schools I was at in the 80s. So
like that weird painted, not cinder block, but kind of like cinder block.
Yeah,
Those big blocks.
yeah. It looks really like elementary schools in the 1980s.
Yeah, it does. But while Dean's on the phone with Frank, getting real annoyed that Frank's not finding more info on Roman, we've got Lucifer is talking to Sam openly now. Like, I mean, and we've kind of like seen a hint of Lucifer a couple times recently, but not that much of him. So he's just talking.
I'm sorry, Diana. It is Lucifer.
Lucifer.
Hell.
Lucifer.
Lucifer. Thank you.
So Sam's like pushing on his hand to make Lucifer disappear, and it works.
He gives himself a hand job, and
hand.
Lucifer disappears.
So they're, anyways. So they're.
Sorry, did I throw you off with that?
I lost my spot. You did. So Dean's annoyed.
Leviathans have infiltrated the boat industry. That is the important thing we learn here.
The boat industry, and I believe at one point Dean tells Frank to call Kanye.
He does, and I wasn't quite sure. I almost rabbit hole to be like, where was Kanye at in his crazy? Like, there isn't, like, where the timeline of Kanye crazy was this?
I mean, I'm not going to comment. So
hey, they're just very things. Like, we could use this as a calendar.
So Ticket's off the phone, though, and they have files. And they're looking at these ritual mutilations and the similarities between all these victims. And they're like, motherfucker, this MO matches that demon from 4 years ago. Shit. So they've got to find out if this demon came back or not. Because this is weird. Because the demon shouldn't have come back because he gave up secrets, and so he should be locked up in hell. But they go to bed with the police scanner on it, wakes him up in the middle of the night with another victim, and so they
and at first I'm like, shut up and give me
scene.
that bedding, and then we see it closer later, and I'm like, oh no, I don't want it. I know, because at first I thought it was like lime green, black leopard print, but then up close you see that it's a little poofy things that would get stuck in your face, and you would wake up with the pox all over you. So
no.
They go to scene.
So they get to this. So they go to the crime scene in a parking garage, and the detective recognizes them and calls them the Drummer Boys because they called themselves Agent Bonham and Watts before. But Lucifer is there kicking it too. So now we're getting a whole lot of Lucifer
It's called Lucifer. And so we're starting to get some interesting perspectives on this, though, right? Because Sam can't remember the detectives' names, but Lucifer
Mm-hmm.
does. So that
Mm-hmm.
is starting to be like, what's happening here? And this is where I really start fucking hating it, because now it starts fucking with my head.
Is this like in his head? Really? Is it a hallucination? Or is he creating it? Or is he inhabited by? I don't
It's
know.
worse than time
But
travel.
yes.
It is.
Uh, so they find sulfur on the car. So now they're like, well, fuck, it's definitely demon. So let's go see Nora Havelock.
Let's go see our bitchiest Wiccan.
And they go to her place of business, which is an office and slash her fulfillment location, I guess, for wiccans.web.com.
And she has expanded into the online business, and wiccans.web.com is owned by Warner Brothers. And it will
That's
just
right.
do a site redirect. And I tried to archive.org it, or like to go see like where it was
Yeah.
originally, but I think it was just always a redirect.
Aw. Well, anyway, she's got devil's trap, a freshly painted devil's trap on her floor to protect herself. And she's been translating some old banishments because she was in over her head before. And she's like, yeah, and by the way, your number's not working anymore. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've got technical issues. And then Dean gets clever. Monster problems, really. That's what I got.
Yep.
Anyways, so she's like, I'm gonna leave town unless you. By the way, have you looked up Jeffrey?
And Dean doesn't remember who Jeffrey is, and he doesn't remember the man the demon was in. The fuck, like, I'm sorry, this is a little bit.
It's all unbelievable.
It's a little unbelievable. I would think that he would remember,
The guy you almost beat to death and dumped out of your car at the hospital.
or as you were going through here, like as you're going reviewing your notes,
Right,
demon in was inside of X.
right. You'd
Yeah.
think you'd have something.
Okay,
Yeah,
so but they cut from here to a group therapy session, and somebody is very mad they can't get Skinamax,
in the halfway house. Yeah.
and so we're at a halfway house.
And Jeffrey's there. So now you feel even worse because you're like, man, poor Jeffrey got real fucked up mentally by this whole thing. This is so sad. Like, I'd be fucked up if I was possessed by a demon and did a bunch of horrible shit. So I get it. And this is all sad. And then we find out the good news is that he's been very responsible and he gets to go adopt a doggo from the shelter.
Mm-hmm. Jeffrey's getting a dog.
And he goes and gets a dog, and the doggo has its cone of shame. And it's a cute little doggo.
Mm-hmm.
And then though he hears, so hold on, this is not believable. He hears a noise. This guy is super traumatized. Just got a brand new dog. He hears a noise in the alley and goes to investigate it. That does not seem like the right action.
Well, also Sam and Dean coming at him with a knife to his throat, also perhaps not the right action. Just,
Well, they thought he was possessed by the same demon.
but that was how they checked. Was I don't know. This just all seems wrong. It's whatever.
It's all weird.
Whatever. So they go.
I'm like, and my notes right here literally say, "Poor Jeffrey."
Oh, that's the worst. The worst. And they go to Jeff's place, all of them, including Lucifer, until Sam gives him a hand job and he says, don't bother, and he glitches away.
I like my note. It says Lucifer chillin'. Because he was chilling.
He was.
Sorry. So Dean has to tell Jeffrey that, by the way, the demon might be back. Jeffrey's all upset. There's 3 more women murdered, and
No.
then Jeffrey's like, "Wait, what was the victim's name? The last victim's name?" And he's like, "What?" Her name was Anna. Why? He's like, "Oh, because there was a list that he would repeat over and over again, and he had it memorized, and he shares the name as Marjorie Willis." And they're like, "Oh shit, that must be the next fucking victim."
But Dean doesn't understand this because demons don't do this serial killer shit, which I think is a very interesting point of kind of the mythos, right? That like demons, at least right here that we know, like that's unusual for them. It's an anomaly. Yeah. It's not normal behavior.
Yeah, they don't have like a hit list of people like that. They may have like a mission, and then other than that, they just kill indiscriminately. So, anyways, and but he like tried to play it off like, oh yeah, he said it was his job. So, anyways, they're like Alan, the leader of the halfway house, knocks on the door and is checking in on Jeffrey and his guests. And Dean feels really bad about Jeffrey. It's like, oh, he's even got a state assigned dad. Like, oh, damn. So anyway, Sam's gonna go find Marjorie and make sure she don't get murdered next, while Dean kicks it with Jeffrey to see if the demon shows up. That's where we leave off. So Sam goes to the library, and who's at the library with him?
Well, and sorry, but it's such a the library. It's such a like library, like it's so like it's such a classic like public library. And it just kind of felt me with like nostalgia.
Oh, it's well done.
Sorry, go
on. A good one. But Lucifer's like just with him. Like, and now it's like not even like a sometimes. Like Lucifer's just fucking there, like hanging out with Sam at the library. And anyways, and Lucifer even said they see Marjorie's the librarian there, and Lucifer just keeps trying to talk to Sam, trying to goad him into it, and he's just basically said it's been months apparently. So now we know it has been months. Sam has successfully quote ignored quote unquote Lucifer for months,
and
which is important.
While he's like trying to stalk Marjorie, while Sam is Lucifer is doing this, but like basically this back and forth thing. So like he's blocking Sam's view, which becomes this very interesting idea about like mind perception. If this is not in Sam's brain, right? If it is in Sam's brain and not real, then his like part of his vision is literally getting blocked off.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And like Sam's making not a big deal about this at all. It's just
he's pretty chill about it.
He's just fine. And so we cut from there back to Jeffrey and Dean.
Yeah, and Jeffrey details all of the injuries that he had sustained at Dean's hands, including 3 smashed fingers, 5 teeth out, a broken wrist, nose and cheekbone, and collarbone, and 160 stitches.
Damn.
Yeah. They said that the doctor said that he looked like he was caught in the Spanish Inquisition.
But nobody expected it.
Nobody expected the Spanish Inquisition. But but also I thought that was an interesting choice of words because he was tortured.
Oh, ooh. Then we even get some more interesting choice of words because he says that he had trouble processing and he started to drink and drift. And then I just went to Tokyo Drift and just pictured like, no, you shouldn't drink and drift. Like, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. It's hard.
But basically, he had a mental break, lost his job, and then he tried to start talking about what happened to him. And then they thought he's like, oh, so you went from the drunk take. So Dean knows drunk take to the psych eval to a 72-hour hold. And then a longer stay at the institution of your choice. And he's like, yeah, basically.
That's fucked up that Dean knows that.
Yes! Like, that's all the reason they need a fucking, a support group.
He's like, oh yeah, no, I know how this works. Okay, fine, for it to go to the drunk tank. Then you get a 72-hour hold. Then they put...
Yeah. So you've heard this too many times. Yeah. Nobody's come up with a support system for these guys? Like, what the fuck? Because think about, like, how many, like, demons Sam and Dean have exercised versus, like...
I was thinking that Dean was implying, like, hunters. But you're right. If Dean's implying this is all the people, that's fucked up.
All the people, and hunters too, but that's all the people they've exercised or have been exposed to what they've done. And then, like, think Sam and Dean are not the only hunters. And so there's other ones on top of all the people they've exercised. So there's all these people that are, like, extremely traumatized with zero support system. And if they talk about what happened to them, they get
everybody thinks they're bad shit. Yeah. Oh, no.
That's dark.
This is so dark.
It's very upsetting. But wait, this episode gets darker.
But wait, there's more. Yeah,
always. So
I just saw my next note. This says Jeff, and it reads so weird. Jeff tells Dean the demon had a special place where he kept things.
Yeah?
Dirty.
Yeah.
We're just
So they're
trying to
gonna
make
go
it
to
through. We're just trying to make it through.
where he nested, and he didn't want to tell them before because he didn't want to go there, but now he knows he has to.
What?
Hmm.
Okay. This one just all sounds like a red flag to me. But I do have hindsight. But either way, I would think Dean should be like, what? Like, why is this
This all
okay?
seems weird. Yeah.
Like, what other
So
tests?
now I'm
What
starting
other,
to
like,
wonder.
I don't know.
So at this point, I start to wonder. I'm like, man, maybe the demon's in him and like playing it off, or something's going on.
Yeah,
Maybe
like
he
maybe
did get
they like
repossessed.
they didn't do the right test or something, right? And so then we cut back to something that's even more upsetting. So we go back to my precious library, which is being defiled.
Yeah, because Lucifer gets tired of reading about the annual rainfall in what is it, Hackberry, Texas, and decides
Which
to.
is a real place, by the way. But hackberry is also the thing that you just name all the plants here. It's like whenever, like, do you know that? So, like, whenever, like, I was a kid and, like, there was a plant, I'd be like, what is that? My dad would be like, that's a hackberry. So every plant, I just think, I
It's
don't,
a Hackberry.
every plant's a hackberry. I don't know if other dads did that or just
No,
mine, but whatever.
just
So
yours.
hackberry, Texas is real, and the
Yeah,
hackberry plant may not be.
I think it's a real
It
plant. I
is a
just don't
real,
think it's
it's a
all the
real plant, and it
plants.
has a
It's
lot.
just not all the
It's
plants.
not all the plants. It does have like thorns in it,
Yeah,
and it's
thorns.
very like it's painful. I know that.
Well,
Not as painful as
Lucifer.
what Lucifer is doing.
Good Lord. Right? Lucifer, I guess, is bored of Sam not acknowledging him. So he starts making or he gives all of a sudden all of the people in the library that are sitting at tables start beating their faces into the desk until they're bloodied over and over again. It is fucking distressing.
It is
Fucking
distressing.
distressing.
And Sam is just like the Oscar of the year should go to Sam for just like he's like at the best poker face, like he's just not like reacting
Not
to
reacting.
like
But that just means how much fucked up shit has Lucifer been doing and showing him
that
this whole
he's
time.
just like la
Because
la la la
he
la la.
presses his hand and it just stops and everybody's fine and back to normal. It wasn't even it wasn't real. How is Sam operating at all?
Mm-mm. I don't like it.
Mm-mm.
I
So
really hate this for Sam, and I hate it for me having to watch Sam go through this. So Sam does see somebody hot following Marjorie.
yeah. So he's watching that while Dean and Jeffrey have pulled up to an industrial site because of course they have.
Well, I
And
bet
there's
it's
no
also
cell
it's just like
signal.
it's like a fence or something, but
Mm-hmm.
because you can't really tell what it is, and there's no
Well,
cell signal.
there's a lot of graffiti, but
Yeah,
yeah.
which makes me think. So, Dean, you waited until after you left to call Sam to tell him where you were going. Like you're
Yeah.
going to this random place with the guy who like
Yeah.
even though like you saved
So
him, he still just he was in a halfway
he's not
house.
well. He's not well.
Like, I'm
Still.
sorry, like, I love all you, but if you were in a halfway house, I'm gonna call somebody and tell them that I'm going with you to places.
Because what if you got in a wreck or somebody had a mental break? There's all
Or
kinds of
it
things
was
that
a
can happen.
Tuesday.
That too.
Because nothing ever happens in your life, Dean Winchester. So the puppy is gonna stay in the car.
Aw. Or is it?
Well, Dean's worried about it peeing on the seats, and the puppy is looking cute.
He's looking cute. And back in the library, Sam sneaks up on our librarian, and you said the hot guy. I called him a creeper. Sneaks up on her,
I identify with Marjorie. I just do.
and they are making out. So he's not there.
Yes!
He is not there to kill Marjorie. He is there to get it on.
They're
Marjorie.
getting it on
Getting on
in the stacks, which, as we all know, is one of my major fantasies. Probably the whole reason. Oh my god! I went by the building where I got my master's degree in library science from last week when I was in New York. I just happened to be in that area. And I went past it, and I knew student loans were about to kick in, and I was like, you were so expensive. Why are you so expensive? And I never got to fuck somebody in the stacks. Like, I feel like that should come with the amount of money that I owe for having a library degree. I should get to have sex with somebody
a fuck pass in the stacks.
That should be part of that degree. I think it should be.
Here's your degree, and here's your one pass for.
It's your time to do it in the stacks. Anyway, so Marjorie, you're my hero.
Well, we've got good old Jeffrey playing a good little innocent role here. Like, oh well, he always made me blindfold, or I couldn't. He was in control. The Dean was in control, so I couldn't see, but I can like feel my way through. So Dean like lead me. There should be a door at the end of the hall, and they go in. There's sigils all over the window in this big industrial room. And Dean's like, oh my God, Jeffrey, something's bad here. You better stay still while I go investigate this guy tied up to this chair. Oh shit. I'm going to go help the guy tied up to the chair. And the guy's panicking as Dean leans over him because somebody's behind Dean and about to shove a syringe in his neck.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Then we cut to some fat shaming from Lucifer, who says that the hot guy, he really isn't that hot. He's just, I appreciate his look. I feel like Marjorie, yes, decent looking guy, leather jacket, you fucking in the stocks. Yes, I have been you. I get it. Yeah. But Lucifer says that the guy is the boring sort of chubby chaser, and she's not even remotely chubby. I hate you, Hollywood. But just like the fact that, like, I just hopefully at some point.
I thought I heard that, and I just like blew it off and did not want to re-listen because I was like, it doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't. I went and checked the transcript. So I was like, that. Yeah, he
gross.
Did. It's just gross, but I think it just grosses me out because I just know somewhere there was this casting side where they're like, we need a chubby girl, and they're like, this normal sized woman. Okay, fine. So Sam is getting Dean's voicemail, which again just drives me insane.
Which I do like. One of his first messages is, leave your name, number, and nightmare at the tone. I was like, damn, okay. I appreciated that one.
That's also my sex call line.
So either way, we now know that neither of Dean's phones are ringing. So as Lucifer points out, that's not good. This is bad. Also, BT Deb, you're missing something in the coroner's report. So now he's pointing out a clue, which is weird. So is he reading the files with Sam, or is he absorbing it through Sam's brain because Sam's reading them? It's so confusing.
Is it just Sam's subconscious?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is my interpretation. The only way that makes me not like stab myself in the eye is that it's Sam's subconscious is projecting itself as Lucifer. So it's just kind of like, you can. I don't know.
You can't just be trapped in his brain? Anyways, I don't know. So. Basically, they figure out, though, that, there's traces of heavy tranquilizers in these newest victims' blood. Huh, weird. Demons don't need those.
Whoa, what does that mean?
That means that somebody else is the bad guy. It's a human. No. So Sam goes to Jeffrey's room at the halfway house and searches it. Finds a cell phone scrambler.
Before something that seems like a throwaway, we will later learn it is not. Sam acknowledges Lucifer and tells
you're right.
He tells him to shut up because he's just blah 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 blah, and Sam just says, "We just go shut up," and then walks off. And it
does seem like a throwaway. It seems like a
throwaway, but then we're going to kind of figure out, maybe that wasn't.
It was not a throwaway. He broke the seal.
So now he has to pee. That's just like...
So Lucifer is in the room while he's searching, and now like Sam and him are engaging. Like Lucifer's talking. He's like, "Oh, those are illegal," like the cell phone scrambler, and then they go find a box under a drawer, and it's got a paper with like spells, and it looks just like the ones that Nora had in the exact same writing and paper and everything. And it's to summon a demon.
And Lucifer is the one who points out that the handwriting is like Nora's. Like, so this is they're full on having a conversation, right? And it's like, oh right, it's our bitchin' Wiccan.
Yeah. So now they've got to go see Nora, and so Sam breaks into Nora's place, and Lucifer's kicking it at the desk, watching as Nora whacks Sam on the back of the head.
So why wouldn't Lucifer warn Sam about she's coming at you with a frying pan. I don't know. So that's the whole, again, is worse than time travel. So, but we're going to find out some interesting information from our forbidden Wiccan Nora.
Yeah. Because basically she's hysterical, said it's all happening the way that he said, and they can't stop it. And Lucifer's like tells and Lucifer tells Sam to hit her, just to shake her up. And Sam's like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But he does threaten her. And she tells Sam that, quote, he has my son. And Sam's like, but why would you bring back a demon? And she's like, not a demon, it's Jeffrey!
You moron! You
Damn
moron!
it!
It's not a demon, it's fucking Jeffrey.
And I'm like, oh, fuck. Jeffrey's super fucked up from being possessed, is what I wrote. Oh, but it's even worse. It's even worse.
It's even fucking worse. So we cut to learn that Jeffrey just loved being possessed.
Yeah. So back at the industrial site, Dean's chained to this chair. The other guy's like, so Nora's son, who never gets a name, by the way, is chained to the other chair. And he's kind of like, he's unconscious. His ear's missing. And Dean's going to want
to... the ear's missing. I forgot about that. Yeah. I didn't even notice that part here, which makes sense later. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So, and we get Dean. Finally, Jeffrey's like, yeah, no one asked you to get involved to save me or to save anybody. I liked being possessed. Oh, shit.
And the demon was the love of his life, which is fucking pathetic because he's a goddamn serial killer. And this is where we learn that we start learning how much of a pathetic piece of shit Jeffrey is.
Yeah, because he wanted to be a serial killer, but he was too much of a bitch to do anything. He just wanted to be upset at the world and think about killing people. But then the demon came and possessed him and basically empowered him to go be a murderer.
So we also learned that the list, was not the demons, because demons aren't into serial killer shit, because they're not little bitches. So, but I don't even get it. So, like, he says the women had basically like steam whistle brains, right? So what does that even mean?
I think he's just that crazy. I don't think he means anything. I think it means nonsense. I thought about it too, and I was like, I don't even know what this is. It's like his insecure. He was projecting his own insecurities onto these women as they walked by, and like said that it made like he could hear their brains making a noise. Motherfucker, that bitch didn't even notice you.
Fucking incel.
So she didn't even see you to react, brah. Anyways, actually, here's like now, like it's like, but I'm like earlier on, I'm like, oh, he's a handsome guy.
Nope, nobody wants to fuck this whiny ass goddamn ass. So sorry, I said ass a lot. So,
all right, so we go
back to Nora's. Yeah, so we get this whole back and forth, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Nora's telling Sam, like, look, I kept tabs on him. On Jeffrey, I sent him care packages, and then he came here and told me he wanted to summon the demon back. And she's like, no, you need to go get some more help. And then in response, he kidnapped her son from his dorm. Oh. So she gave him the ritual and the sigils that he wanted. And then because the ritual didn't work, Jeffrey sent her son's ear to her.
You fucking psychopath. So, but also the ear is very good. I thought the ear was very well done.
It was. And Sam's like, that demon's locked down because it gave up secrets. They're not going to let it out. It's like way locked up in hell. Duh. She's like, yeah, but I found a spell that will work. And also, BT Dub, the only reason that like Dean's with him right now is because I sent him there. Because I sent y'all after him.
It's a trap.
Oopsies.
It's a trap. And so the bodies were a trap for Sam and Dean because the summoning spell requires the blood of the exorcist who banished him. So it's time for us to talk about some exorcisms, because I have to talk about something else less upsetting. I was saying less upsetting than Jeffrey. We're going to talk about exorcisms.
I say, I'm like, okay, we're in a weird spot when exorcisms are less upsetting, but I think exorcisms are kind of fascinating. So let's go.
This is lore. So I'm not sure we have really talked about the dogmatic practice of exorcisms in the Catholic Church. We kind of have, but it was different, I promise, sort of. Okay, first off, did you know that according to the Dublin Catholic community. Sorry, there's a word I'm missing. That's why it started me off. The Dublin Catholic Church's communications office, that the Catholic Church requires every diocese to have a trained exorcist.
Hmm.
Like, so there has to be some.
I thought they had moved away from that, but that's interesting.
No, they haven't. That right. This is why it's interesting. So in 2022, there were about 150 trained priests in the United States who were trained to perform them. And thankfully for us, the U.S. Conference of Catholic Bishops wanted to make sure that some of the misconceptions about exorcisms and that the people have in general public, so they made frequently asked questions about exorcism. So thank you, the
Thank you for
Conference
having
of
a
Catholic.
communications department.
Yeah, thank you for having communications department and doing an FAQ just so we can get some things covered. There is also an International Association of Exorcists, and they have an annual conference, and it happens this week. And I was trying to find some of the archive publications about them, and I haven't gotten there yet. I will, I will find them without doing illegal things. I promise. So, okay, so some of the according, and this is going to be exorcisms from the view of the Catholic Church, not because we can talk about them in a lot of other ways, but we're
Right.
focusing just on the Catholics.
Okay.
And so, according to them, what would you define an exorcism as? If I said, Diana, what is an exorcism?
An exorcism is when a religious person or not, I guess, but I'd say I go by Catholic background. So when a priest uses their religious tools of prayer and other things to expel a demon from a possessed person.
Sort of, but the Catholic Church makes it a lot more vaguer than that. They say that an exorcism is a specific form of prayer that the church uses against the power of the devil. So those are some very specific but vague words, right? Because you're
Yeah.
going to see where some things get thrown into an exorcism that you wouldn't think they were. So exorcisms are divided into two kinds. There are simple or minor forms of exorcisms, and those can be found in two places. First, for those for preparing for baptism, the rite of Christian initiation of adults and the rite of baptism for children both call for minor exorcisms. So,
Huh.
my interpretation, because I didn't have time to follow that rabbit hole, is that maybe, when you're getting baptized, and if you're a godparent, or if, I guess if you're an adult, so if you're a godparent, they ask you, do you like abjure Satan and all of his
Right.
works, right?
So is that a mini exorcism?
I think maybe that's a minor exorcism, right? Because you're going against the power of Satan, right? Or they say,
Right.
like, I protect this child against Satan. So maybe that's how that works, right?
Huh.
And so there are also just like a series of prayers that can be used by the faithful for do this. The minister of a minor exorcism is the designated authorized minister of the sacrament or blessing being celebrated. And so that can be done by the clergy or by the lay faithful, right? So these are minor things that are only for like mini Satan.
Mini Satans.
Minor Satans. The second kind is the solemn or the major exorcism, which is again, this is all straight from their shit, right? So this is a rite that can only be performed by a bishop or by a priest with the special and express permission of the local ordinary, and this is under code of canon law. This form is directed at the expulsion of demons or to the liberation of a person from demonic possession. So that would
Right.
fall under what you were saying as a definition, right? So this is the major form, is really we're working either to expel a demon from a person, a place, or a thing.
Yeah.
And one of their FAQs, may anyone receive a major exorcism? The following are able to receive the specialized blessing if it is determined necessary. 1. Catholics. 2. Catechumens. 3. Non-Catholic Christians who request it. And 4. Non-Christian believers, provided they have the proper disposition, meaning they are sincere in their desire to be free of demonic influences. In cases involving a non-Catholic, the matter should be brought to the attention of the diocesan bishop. So I believe that I read that as anybody.
Yeah.
Because I think you cover all your bases. We're like,
Yeah.
you and those who aren't you.
Yeah. All the people.
All the people. Okay. So how frequently is a major exorcism performed? Quote, the frequency of exorcisms of this sort is determined by the credible need for the rite. That is why establishing a diocesan protocol is important. Through the centuries, the church has moved cautiously when evaluating alleged cases of demonic possession. The reason for this is not to deny access to members of the faithful who are in genuine need. However, the church is equally concerned that individuals not get caught up in a sensationalist mentality and thus create a sideshow affair. Although rare, genuine cases of demonic possession should be addressed in a balanced manner with the utmost care being intended to the afflicted person.
Damn. They didn't answer that, but they basically said, we're not making this a fucking sideshow.
They lawyered the shit out of that as somebody who writes, because I also, as I go through this, I realize this is also almost a crisis management plan and a crisis communications plan, which I do pretty much for a living. So part of me is like, I get what you're saying here. I'm like, okay, like this is what, but also like we need protocol. Y'all can't decide stuff. Like we need to have rules and regulations because Peggy fucked it up. Like someone fucked this up. This is why we have rules and this is why we have a protocol. So how does a priest become an exorcist? So a priest may be appointed to the office of exorcist either on a stable basis or for a particular occasion ad octum by the bishop. And I'm going to stop trying to say the word diocesan, whatever. So diocese.
Diocese is it on its own, but diocesan, yeah.
I don't know why I've lost the ability to say that word. Probably Satan. So either way, that the exorcist should work closely with if they're not a bishop, you've got to work with the bishop, right? So I think they're saying like you can be like an exorcist all the time, or you can be an exorcist like when need be. Like you can get appointed, but the next question is how are exorcists trained and prepared for this ministry? Classically, the exorcist has trained for the specialized ministry through an apprenticeship model, working under the direction of an experienced exorcist. Additionally, in recent years, several programs have been established to foster the training of exorcists. And you know I'm going to get my hand on that fucking program. Oh. I will have all of it. I want to see the training for this. You know it's good. So, what, if any, rites in this text may be formed by the lay faithful? And for those of you who don't know, so a lay faithful is if you're not a priest, right? So, just like if I was a standard Catholic, right?
A practicing active Catholic.
A practicing Catholic.
In good standing.
Yeah. I don't know if you had to be in good standing. You didn't say that.
With the church? I thought you did.
To be a lay faithful, I don't know. Like, who says? So, as they said, as mentioned previously, the rite of major exorcism is to be administered only by an authorized priest or bishop. If it is deemed useful, members of the lay faithful may be present for the rite, supporting the work of the exorcist by their prayers, either recited privately or as instructed in the rite. So you can have like your own like special part that you say, but there's only parts that only like priestesses can. Not priest, but priestesses, but priests. Yeah. So
not priestesses.
No, unfortunately, not. I don't know, maybe in the future, but not right now. No priestesses. So but speaking of the female variety, it is noted that when an afflicted member of the faithful is female, there should be at least one other female present for the sake of propriety and discretion. At no time should the exorcist be alone with an afflicted member of the faithful, neither during consultation nor for the celebration of the rite. I am not sure for whose safety they said that for, but
Yeah, I mean, because there was some like, oh, I'm so possessed, Miss Father, the demon.
yeah, and priests have never done anything bad when left
Oh
alone
no,
with
I'm saying
people.
that's the easy one because I
I
know they've
know,
done
I
terrible
know.
things. That's why I was
There's
like, you
many
got the
things.
other side
There's many
too.
ways there. There's many ways. We all know about the sluttily possessed girl. So, what ritual symbols are used in exorcisms and what do they symbolize? So, in addition to the use of the Psalms and Gospel readings and the recitation of the exorcistic prayers, a series of sacred symbols is utilized in the rite of major exorcism. To begin, water is blessed and sprinkled, recalling the centrality of the new life the afflicted person received in baptism and the ultimate defeat of the devil through the salvific work. Salvific? Is that the. Okay, sure. Work of Jesus Christ. The imposition of hands, as well as breathing on the person's face, it's called, there's a word, exsufflation,
Mm-mm.
Exsufflation,
No.
exsufflation by the exorcist reaffirms the power of the Holy Spirit at work in the person as a result of their baptism, confirming him or her as a temple of God. And then finally, the Lord's cross is shown to the afflicted person, and the sign of the cross is made over him or her, demonstrating the power of Christ over the devil. So basically, you get water thrown on you, and somebody breathes in your face, and they put their hands on you, and then you get shown a cross, and then they make a cross over you. I've met a lot of priests that let them have good breath. I'm just saying. Okay, so how may an exorcist ensure that an exorcism is not perceived as a magical or superstitious activity?
Ooh.
The exorcist himself can serve as a catechist in this matter by the way he faithfully administers the rites as provided by the church in her wisdom. Fundamentally, the rites of exorcism. I think it's interesting. The church is a woman, anyways. Fundamentally, the rites of exorcism are just one way the church tends to the pastoral care of souls, even souls that are not of her flock. However, the more obscurely and mysteriously the rite is portrayed, the more magical and superstition the perceptions become. Given the superabundance of confusing and inaccurate information available in the public arena surrounding this particular topic, the manner in which this reverse rite is announced provides for a teachable moment to believers and non believers alike. And I'm going to say, I am sorry, you are chanting things or wearing a special outfit and drawing symbols. How the fuck is that not a spell? But basically, they're saying if you get too flashy doing this, it's gonna look magical. So you need to
Keep it keep
keep
it
it
keep it
down,
straight
bro.
Jesus-y.
Keep it don't
Keep no flourishes.
keep the power of Christ compels you at inside voice.
Try it in English, not Latin.
Yeah. So that was a Catholic bishop site, and to wrap, we have one more slight divergence before we get back to no, maybe I just didn't want to get back to the episode, so I was like, no, just gonna be one more thing. All right, so aside from the Catholic bishop site, I went down the rabbit hole that is the St. Michael Center for Spiritual Renewal, a non-profit Catholic organization that, quote, prays with people who are spiritually suffering and in need of healing and deliverance. They have workshops and train the clergy and the laity. They train people to be exorcists. So remember the programs that people were talking about and things. So
Mm-hmm.
this is one of them. There is a strong note on their page because this is note the St. Michael Center for Spiritual Renewal carries out its ministries with the approval of the Archbishop of Washington.
Oh.
The deliverance prayers used, including both imprecatory and deprecatory prayers, and shared among those who make use of its services, do not involve the administration of the sacraments, nor do they include constitutive blessings. They are invocations of the grace of the Holy Spirit to deliver individuals, families, and communities from the influence and power of evil, and therefore may be used by individuals or shared and prayed collectively using the means of electronic communication. This statement is not an endorsement of any particular prayers that may be shared by the centers.
Weird. The attorneys wrote that too.
The attorneys of the Archbishop of Washington did write that. So, but this is basically CatholicExorcism.org. And on this, you can find many helpful resources that include the following: checklist of prayers for deliverance of exorcism session, infestation of an object instructions for priests, guidelines for deliverance session of place, some general rules for discernment of place. For sake of time, we're only going to talk about two of these. I am saving infestation of an object instruction for priests for next week, and because it actually does, we'll have a reason for it, and it's very exciting. So we're going to start with the last one, and then go back to the first. So the back one, which is general rules for discernment of a place, aka, is this shit real? Have you been possessed by Satan? Okay, number one. First, try and eliminate first and foremost all natural explanations for the paranormal occurrences in the place. Two, interview more than one witness to gain a more objective view of the occurrences. Also, two or more witnesses to the paranormal manifestations give more reliability that what is occurring is not something merely psychological. Three, answer the following questions. A positive answer to these questions would give greater credibility that one is dealing with an infestation and will also help in determining how to proceed. Did any occult, spiritualist, spiritist, did any occult, spiritist, pagan activity occur within the vicinity recently? Examples are feng shui, witchcraft, sorcery, spellcasting, spirit questing, seance, or bloodletting. Did a tragedy
Feng shui?
feng shui? B. Did
Like,
no feng shui. Did someone move a chair? B. Did a tragedy like death or murder occur recently within the vicinity? C. Did someone arrive just in the place? If yes, check whether he was involved in occult, animist, spiritist activities. Was there anything new added to the place, like an antique mirror, an old painting, a good luck figurine, new age crystals and stones, a pagan god statue? They could have evil spirits attached to them. Was there a tampering or raiding place? Were there any rapes that occurred there? Did any sinful activity occur there? Have the that includes drug sessions and homosexual encounters? Had the residents quarreled or had a misunderstanding with someone who had access to witchcraft or sorcery?
access to witchcraft or sorcery.
It would also be good to check the history of the place. What was in place before the dwelling was constructed? A mass graveyard during the war, a place which was fostered and known to be infested with elementals. A positive answer to these questions would give greater credibility that one is dealing with an infestation. If it has been discovered that the infestation is connected with the person living in the house or place, he must be addressed first. It has happened that when evil spirits attached to a person has been expelled, all activity in the place also ended. After the interview, make a plan of action for the residents. So this is better than what Dean Winchester was doing. They are making a plan of action for the people who
I
are
like
being
that.
possessed.
That's good.
That's good. So so Winchesters, take notes. Maybe not. So your plan of action should include, if present, all ongoing sinful occult animist activities must be stopped. If present, all occult and infested objects like Ouija boards, amulets, talismans, good luck figurines, and pagan god statues must be disposed of. The person residing in the place, if they have taken any part in these sinful occult animist activities, must confess them to a priest and also renounce them 3 times in front of the Blessed Sacrament if they are occultist animist in nature. Nothing like witchcraft here at all. The persons residing in the place must prepare and protect themselves spiritually before the deliverance of the place. Masses offered for their protection and for the liberation of the place. Confession of all to be in the state of grace and therefore protected. Daily communal family rosary to seek the intercession and protection of Mary. Mary and consecration of the entire family. Wearing personal sacramentals like the St. Benedict's medal and wearing the scapular. And for each person, using holy water on oneself before going to bed. And placing exercise salt around the perimeters of the bedrooms. Yes, we have our salt. We have our salt. It's here. This could very easily have been on a checklist that you hand out at the end, Winchesters. Okay.
Yeah.
So the inhabitants also prepare the following for the scheduled deliverance blessing: water, rock salt, and candles for the blessing. They may add a number of religious statues, medals, pictures, and crucifix to be blessed during this session and place around the place after deliverance and blessing. This is at the end of these instructions, which is why you should read them through to the end. So,
Yeah.
okay, and I said there's me too. So there's the second one. So back to the first checklist of prayers for a deliverance session or a solemn exorcism, where I read these prayers can be found in the app Catholic Exorcism. So yes, there is an app for that, which of course I fucking downloaded. Yes, China, get on there. I went through a bunch of stuff. I can tell you where things are hosted. Okay, I have not hacked into this app. I swear. So on the front of the app, you basically go in. There's a whole picture of like St. Michael. It says St. Michael Center for Spiritual Renewal. You can check on prayers, resources, favorites, learn more, or contact. If you go to the prayers page, you can go to prayers for priests, exorcists, deliverance prayers to be used by any priest, prayers for those assisting priests in exorcisms and deliverance praying, blessings used by priests, deliverance prayers for laity, and deliverance prayers for deacons. So scrolling through those, this is like, what are some of the prayers I can find in here? The first
Right.
one, one of them is the worst spa treatment ever, which is deep scrub with the precious blood and the fire of the Holy Spirit.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't understand that one. So you could also have, there are some Druid renunciations. So they do caveat that Druidism is not an organized religion, but rather a collection of people who have generic beliefs about the supernatural world. As such, these renunciations are based on those generic beliefs.
Damn. At least they
So
specify.
they're very specific that you have a prayer you can say to renounce your Druidism. There is a prayer for one who has eaten something defiling. So within it, basically they want God to grant remission to thy servant who has tasted and eaten filthy meat, or impure food, or taken anything from idols, and which was bonded to unclean spirits, which thou hast forbidden to be eaten in thy holy law, and forgiven him who has partaken of such involuntarily. So if you accidentally eat some unclean meat, there's a prayer for that. One I thought we might enjoy was a prayer for decommissioning tattoos. And so within it, they can invoke the keys of St. Peter and decommission the tattoo and break and sever each and every connection between that tattoo and the evil one and his associates. You can exorcise this image and the ink used to make this tattoo and each server and etc. etc. Damn it! There was one in here I forgot that I didn't put in, but there is one for the technology that is used within the exorcism, and it includes all the servers and the firewalls. Like literally, you can go through there. But to give you some more ideas about the people who put this app together, I would say don't forget to check out their blog where you could read things like Exorcist Diary number 262, The Dark Fruits of Witchcraft, and Exorcism Diary number 255, Ouch, Cut by Demons. Which I would like to put against Ouch, My Titty. So that is the practical knowledge of
Huh. Exorcisms.
exorcisms according to those
Catholic Church.
sites. And I will say that the first ones, those are heavily churched. The app, I still I was doing some back ass hand flips trying to figure out who actually owns that app in the St. Michael Center. They
Yeah.
are. I can't tell if priests actually use it because there are priests on the St. Michael Center, right? There's
Right.
monsignors who are running it. There's monsignors who are clearly doing exorcisms off that page. However, I don't know if that's if I was a priest, that's a training they would go to. You follow?
I got you.
Yeah, it's okay, there's canon law, which is most of the exorcisms follow the canon law, and those are different from the things that are on that app. And they said that though, right? They said this isn't sacramental. Yes. This is different.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's fucking fascinating.
I like that the rating for the Catholic Exorcism app is 12 plus years old. In case you wanted to know.
glad that you went
recommended
to.
age requirement.
Yeah, no,
So,
it's not tracking data on you. If that helps.
sure. Sure.
I mean, can I
Uh,
do the exorcism to get to stop tracking my data?
oh my gosh. Maybe.
Okay. Do we
Oh.
have to? Damn it! I don't want
It's
to.
the scene we don't want to do. So I'm going to do it. Like, we're going to skip past a little bit. We're going to go. Jeffrey has a bowl of blood, of Dean's blood, that he's dripping out of Dean's arm because it's
Wait,
the blood of the
before
exorcist.
one thing though, Sam wants her to use Jeffrey, the ear of her kid, to do a
Oh, the
tracking
tracking.
spell,
Yeah.
and Lucifer could be prouder, and neither could I, because he is just like use Bavarian, use Egyptian. I want to say that I point out because they're starting to use we're starting to see Winchesters use magic more and more. I just want to point that out, right? Sam's
Okay. Yeah.
like, hey, let's use this to do a tracking spell, which is like, you think about it, that's kind of like they haven't really done this before.
Like, suggested someone use a spell. Yeah.
Yeah, like, bitch,
You're
let's do
right.
a tracking spell. Let's find it. Okay, sorry, move on.
So we've got Dean's blood in a bowl
Blood bowls.
and blood bowls. Back to blood bowl, and he's like trying to now he's monologuing real hard because he knows Dean so well because Dean tortured innocent man to get that demon. That just was really revealing of your character. And it's so desperate to save the world. Blah
Do
blah
you
blah blah
think
blah.
serial killers monologue like this to their victims?
I don't know. It's
How
annoying.
awful.
Anyways, and he's like talking about how what a wreck he was and he was suicidal. And Dean says, we were all thinking, is like, I don't usually endorse suicide, but what stopped you? So anyways,
I
apparently
do.
Alan stopped him.
Alan stopped him, and the program, right? The program
Yeah.
really helped him to focus his goals, and he learned that he was nothing without his demon. And I do think it's interesting, kind of this take on like 12 step a little bit, just kind of like, I don't know. I thought that was an interesting kind of side thing. So then there's a scene that happens that I fast forwarded through. Then we go to
Dean calls him a sick son of a bitch.
yep, and then nothing happens. Then there is some dramatic summoning.
Yeah, very dramatic summoning. The whole building's shaking, and then stops. And then is Jeffrey possessed? Nope, nope. Nor his son is.
No shit, you dumb fuck. Like, what the fuck were you thinking was going to happen, Jeffrey? You piece of shit.
So he
So
breaks out of his little chair that he's tied into and hugs Jeffrey, thanks him. They do a real awkward dance.
they do a waltz, which the Supernatural Wiki pointing out that one of like Alistair or someone was talking about dancing cheek to cheek. So I thought that may be a demon thing that was here, but I don't know.
Well, Jeffrey's upset because he wants the demon inside him.
Ew.
And the demon's just still monologuing at Jeffrey now. You haven't forgotten what I taught you. You built on it. You captured a Winchester. Blah 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 blah. But I'm done with you. Sorry.
Ugh.
And gets shoved to the ground. Jeffrey gets shoved to the ground. So Demon notices that Dean's trying to break away, and he's like, wait, what are you talking? What is going on? Like, what, you find this postal worker and that goes postal? This is like what you do as a demon? Like, why? What is up with this Jeffrey sitch? And Demon's like, yeah, I'm a talent scout. I gotta find the next generation of superstars before they get to hell.
Which, you know, like, yeah, he's a talent scout for psychos. But it's kind of interesting if you think about demonology in general. Historically, demons have had, you know, like there's patron saints. So there's basically like demons that are like, I am the demon for this thing, right? I'm the demon for I'm the demon Barbara of Fleet Street, whatever. But you know what I mean. So I think, and we've kind of seen this with some of like the demon with Becky, who was a crossroads demon, but then he had like really special. So I think this idea of like demons kind of like having their own kinks and fetishes,
have a job,
or their job, right? Like this is my job. Is I go out and I make people more serial killery,
or it's just help people that are already going to do bad shit, help them do more bad shit.
Yeah, which is a lot of religious kind of theory about what, you know, the idea of evil is. Like, you were going to do it anyways. I just pushed you along.
So, but Dean's like, but what about this body you're in now? Duh. And Demon's like, oh yeah, no, it's not. I'm gonna burn this meat off on the way to Vegas. You know.
So he had, yeah. So at least Nora's son can't be a serial killer. That's nice.
That's good. But then Sam's there and he clocks him and Dean escapes and Sam gets demon flinged and there's a devil's trap on the ceiling. So the demon gets trapped and Nora's very upset. Jeffrey tries to intervene and so Dean shoots Jeffrey and that's the end of Jeffrey. It's kind of anticlimactic actually, like in a
Yeah,
so
Jeffrey's, but
unsatisfying.
it's kind of like that's all you get. Jeffrey is I shoot you, but Laurent gets some like bitch and wicked bad bitch energy and like exercises the shit
Mm-hmm.
out of his demon and like gets her kid free. So good for you, Nora.
Well, he'll never have his ear again.
You can put it back on. Well, I know Sam destroyed it in the tracking spell. Sorry, you can get a new fake ear. And it can be like a bionic ear that I'm sure is like a smart ear now, and like you're gonna get all sorts of like special things for your new ear, whatever Nora's kid's name is. Sorry, you didn't get a
They
name.
never had a name.
You never
We
get a
didn't have
name
one.
because the demon cock smoked out. You live, whatever. And we get back to the hotel, and this is where we
Gross
learn.
motel.
This is where we learn that the bedspread is not great.
No, it's
Because
ugly.
if you weren't disappointed enough, now we learn the bedspread sucks.
Yes. And they're just talking about how Jeffrey was pretending to be a victim and all this stuff. And, Dean's just, talking about, oh, a psychopath acting normal, like not like he's not crazy. And you can kind of see like Sam hesitate because Sam's been faking that he hasn't been hallucinating for a while. I tried, it didn't work. Uh, so there we go. And now Lucifer wants to talk to Sam, and when Dean goes to sleep, and Sam's pressing on his hand, but it doesn't work anymore because Sam talked to him.
You let him in. You let him in, and now you're fucking on fire.
Yeah.
Like you're sitting in a bed of fire.
Yes.
Which I'm like, so is it actually burning? Is it
Yeah.
comfortable? Like, is it just
Is
like
it warm?
I don't, because that could be soothing, right? I'd be like, oh, nice, and curl up in my fire.
Yeah, I don't know. They're not very clear about that.
But Sam gets his hell eyes, so we have something to know. I'm like, he's in hell. I don't know. I like his hell eyes.
Fire eyes.
His fire eyes. No, I used to work for them. God damn it, I say that loud. Okay, so he gets hell eyes, and Mark Pellegrino is a genius. So I'm inviting him on the show, but he's a genius. Casting couch.
Yeah, let's talk about our cast. So, good old Jeffrey was played by Russell Sams, who does not done a ton of acting. Interestingly, he was in a few episodes of like CSI, Ghost Whisperer, and was a character named Richard in the movie Rules of Attraction. Nora Havelock is played by Nicole Oliver. Interestingly, most of her acting credits are voice related. So she's been actually a voice director of several of the Lego animated cartoon series and the 2023 Strawberry Shortcake. She's done voice work on a ton of anime. And I don't follow anime closely, but I think these couple that I'm going to list sounded familiar. Like Silent Mobius, Ranma, and a bunch more. She's also in the 2000s version of the aughts of He-Man and Masters of the Universe. She was Queen Marlena / Sorceress. She's also done animation with Transformers, Powderpuff Girls Z, Bratz, Barbie. On other regular television, you may have seen her on The Outer Limits, The L Word, or Arrow. She did multiple voices in that Sausage Party movie, that animated movie, which I did not watch. And then
I know it's not that. Well, I don't know why. Like I know which movie. Like that's the Seth Rogen movie, but in my head, like I immediately went to Funny Got Fingered and like Daddy, would you like
oh
some
no,
sausage? But I know it's not that movie. But I just went there.
and she was done a ton of Hallmark movies and was most recently Rebecca in the Nancy Drew series. Nora's son that gets possessed, that doesn't have a name, is played by Jeffrey Ballard. You may have seen him in episodes of, which is funny name, Jeffrey, I know, Smallville, L Word, Wayward Pines, Van Helsing. He, funny enough, as a child, was boy number one in Children of the Corn Revelation, and was Billy in the 2003 release of A Wrinkle in Time as a TV movie. Alan, our halfway house daddy, was played by Daniel Bacon. He's been in episodes of Dead Like Me, Smallville, 4400, L Word, iZombie, and Made. He was played bit parts as a reporter in both the movies Miracle and Fantastic Four. Which is kind of funny. And he's Ed in the movie Deck the Halls and was the Bone Cruncher in the BFG. And done a lot of Hallmark as well. Our library creeper was played as what I called him. He was not a creeper, but your hot dude in the stacks was played by Christian Sloan. He's been in episodes of Fringe, Smallville, Arrow, Hell on Wheels. He was a recurring character. He's been in a couple episodes of Riverdale. He was on Batwoman. And he was a character named Jay in the movie Star Trek Beyond, the more recent one, and was the unsavory man
Ooh.
in Twilight Breaking Dawn #1.
I wonder, like, I'm trying to pinpoint which one he was.
I know, I can't.
I'm betting, like, when she goes to, they go shopping in Seattle, wherever they go shopping. Remember when they go shopping?
No, this is Breaking Dawn 1, though. This is way later.
That is way later.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's weird. So I got to think about it. But yeah. So I just thought that was good. So that's my casting couch this week.
Very cool. So, what'd you think?
Fuck this episode.
Okay, well, I think that's how we're going to end it. Cheers, jerk.
Cheers, bitch.
Devil's Trap Podcast is a Don't Get It production. Meow.
Devil's Trap Podcast is part of the Ship It Studios podcast network. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Devil's Trap Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram at Devil's Trap Podcast, Twitter at Devil's Trap Pod, or you can email us at devilstrap@devilstrappodcast.com. Don't forget to subscribe, leave reviews, and share with all your friends. We're at all your favorite podcast outlets and at devilstrappodcast.com. I'm Babe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.